Hello, welcome to the cover letters presentation. My name is Patrick Berry. I am a public services specialist at your Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library. I am a member of the library's business team, which strives to help our patrons with their career and/or small business needs. The topic in this presentation will be centered on cover letters. I will be sharing tips and suggestions to help you in designing a unique and winning cover letter. So let's get started. First off, a cover letter is a letter written and submitted alongside a resume to introduce yourself in a memorable and personal way to potential employers. This means writing a unique and personalized cover letter for each job you are applying for. While your resume reflects the facts of your career, your cover letter is meant to convey more of your personality. It's your first impression to the person that may read your resume or that may interview you. The template that you use should also match the template that you use for your resume. That way, should the two pieces of paper become separated, it's easy for the person reading it to go back and find who it belongs to. It also shows a level of organization and professionalism along the way. Just remember, if you're submitting a resume, you should also submit a cover letter. So, what should I include? First off, your contact information. Professional email and voicemail always. This should be the same as what you put in your resume. This way they have one place to go to contact you, whether it be one email, one telephone number, but either way they decide to contact you, it needs to be professional. So your email should be something like pat.berry@gmail.com. Your voicemail should be professional and should not sound silly or have any bizarre references or anything like that. And as far as the phone number goes, probably if you have a cell phone, that would be ideal. Otherwise, if you use a home phone, someone, whether it be a child or a friend, may answer it and may not always be the best scenario. Make sure that in the cover letter you have the contact information for the hiring authority. Find the name or the title of the recruiter if at all possible. Sometimes this is relayed to you when you are trying, or when you are applying, or when they release the actual job description. It may give you the contact name. If not, if you can find the person, whether through LinkedIn or by Googling the company, that would be ideal. If not, you need to find out the actual name of the department. Not everybody calls it their HR department. Some people call it personnel. Some people would call it hiring director. There's a lot of different names and titles that can be used, but if you can actually make it fit to the company you're applying for, that's even better. Next, you should have underneath that the company name and address where you are applying. Make sure that you are applying to the correct address. And then when you go to compose the cover letter, you want to make sure that the voice that you choose is appropriate for the company where you are applying for a job. Some companies, like a financial firm or a bank, may have a little bit more structured or organized or professional manner, where maybe someplace like a graphic design studio or an art gallery may be a little bit more lax in the way they phrase things. And so you can use just a different type of voice when you go to compose that document. Next, you want to research the job title and job description. Use these keywords to show your skill set and your experience. Most companies, when they post a job, will have the title and the description there. If you're applying for this position, Hopefully you have the skill set that goes to it. And if so, you want to make sure that some of the keywords from the job description or from the job title are actually referenced during the cover letter. At some point in time in the cover letter, you want to demonstrate how your work experience and your skills meet the requirements. And like I kind of mentioned before, you want to make sure that you research the company. That's going to give you the tone. It's going to give you the setting so that when you go to apply, you know what they do. You know what their history is. Maybe you look in to see what their mission statement or their core values are. This will help you demonstrate that you are a great fit for that company. And then you want to make sure that you explain why you want to work at that company or organization. And this is where you can get a lot more personal. And I think if you can try to find a story or a reason that you want to apply, it's going to make you stand out from the people that are just throwing a ton of applications or resumes out there and that aren't actually putting in the time to research the company. It's also going to show that you have a vested interest in belonging to that organization. So say you want to work for, let's just use my employer, the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library. What would you try to relay to these people? So for an application, a cover letter, or a resume, you want to make sure that you get across that you want to work for them. Say something along the lines of, I've always loved your company. In this case, I've loved the Topeka Library. I've always gone there for my books, for doing my research when I was going to school, and I feel like they are a part of our community. And now I want to join the library and help out patrons in our community any way I can. Something like that. Or you say, you know what, I love XYZ product. I've used it for 20 years and can't put it down. I'll never go somewhere else. And when I saw this job opening, I thought this was going to be a perfect fit for me and for the company. So try to find some kind of tie-in between you and the company that you're actually applying for. Try not to sound like everyone else. There are a ton of templates out there. There's a lot of examples out there on the internet. Don't just copy and paste them. Don't do the templates where it's fill in company name here. You know, enter your name here. Enter job description title, whatever. Try to keep it personalized and custom to every single job that you're applying for. Tell them why you are a fit for the job and company. Using that personal touch, a story, or even example of why this job or company has excited your interest. And try to be confident and enthusiastic in your tone. One of the things that comes across in writing is the author's confidence and enthusiasm for the subject matter. And I can't relay this enough to you. I've read hundreds, if not thousands, of applications, resumes, cover letters, and everything else. You can tell the people that are just doing the bare minimum. Here's a cover letter that I think is close to what you're looking for, and here's my resume. There's no enthusiasm in what they're writing and how they're relaying it to you. And then at the very end, a positive closing statement that is polite and open-ended. I look forward to discussing this in more detail with you. I hope to hear from you soon. Something along these lines. And then if you're actually submitting a cover letter in person, you want to have an actual signature at the bottom of the page. This should be handwritten, not just a typed name, but I would have your name typed out and then between the sincerely and your typed name, a space so that you can handwrite your signature on that. It gives it just one more personal touch. Here is an example of a cover letter. Notice that it starts with your personal contact information. followed by the date, recipient name, title, and then the company. And then once you get down into it, it's only 2 or 3 paragraphs. And then it finishes with a sincerely and then your name. Notice that the actual body of the cover letter only takes up like a third to a half of the page. Realize that this is going to be a very short document. This is not something that you need to drag out. It should be less than 1 page, and it should be brief and concise in relaying your information. This should not rehash your resume. The job of the cover letter is to entice them to read your resume and to read it in more detail. So please make sure that you keep it to 1 page or less. Words and phrases to avoid. Basically, you want to try to avoid to whom it may concern, I'm not sure if you know, and other phrases that are just boring. Let's just keep it direct. It's boring. A lot of people use these. You want to stand out, be creative. Don't use words like, I am a detail-oriented. Try to show them that. Please feel free, okay? Well, they are free. They're free to throw your resume and cover letter into the scrap heap, okay? So let's not start off on those terms. A lot of these are ones that people use over and over again, and really just dig a little deeper and see if you can find more creative terms for these phrases. Reminders, keep it brief, 1 page or less. The style should be the same as the resume. So if you're using a template for your resume, the header and all that stuff should look the same on the cover letter. Try not to joke or be funny, because while you may be funny to your friends, when you write something out, it may not be interpreted in that way. They may not get the joke. And really, this isn't the time or the place to try that. You're trying to sound professional, and trying to go down that road could be disastrous. Realize that this is a business document. This will be placed in your file, so don't exaggerate or make false claims. This could come back to bite you and bite you bad. Not the time to rehash your resume, so don't get too deep into the weeds. Try not to be reliving the resume within the cover letter, okay? You have half a page to get across your personality and why you're a good fit for this company. Please don't take that space up by just saying the same thing that they're going to read in the resume. And then make sure that the name, date, and address all check out. Do you have it addressed to the correct person? The date is correct, and that the address is correct for the company. One of the things that people will do is that they will use or design one cover letter and then go in and change things so that it fits the company that they're applying to, or fit the job that they're applying for. If you decide to do that, then you need to make sure that these items are checked off, that you are addressing it to the correct company, and that the date isn't from 3 months ago, and that the name of the person you're sending it to is correct, and that anything mentioning the company throughout the document is fixed and changed over to the one that you're actually applying to. Proofread. I cannot get this through to people enough. This is a must. You need to go through and, let me get back there a second. What you need to do first is go through and read this out loud, okay? We live in a society where we tend to text and email a lot. So shortcuts are taken with our grammar. You may forget the word a or the word the because you're used to typing and just leaving it out. But when you go to write a letter, which this is what it is, a cover letter, you want to make sure that it reads correctly. So go through, read it out loud, and your brain will catch that, where maybe spell check and other resources won't. Then what I would suggest you do is read it out loud, fix everything you can. then go through, look at it again, and then I would turn it over to people that you trust, family members, friends, your actual business or job related references, people that you trust to be honest with you and to go through and look at it and say, wait, this doesn't sound right, or, oh, you missed this. These are things that are important. This is the final touch. Now, when it comes to saving it or storage, you want to make sure that when you sit down and compose your cover letter, that you save it as a doc or a PDF or JPEG, something that's universally accepted when you go to submit it, whether you're submitting it online or whatever. That way, whoever you're sending it to can easily open it up, and they should have the software available to open those. Save it on a USB drive or flash drive as well. That way you can take it and carry it with you. Or should your computer crash, you still have it. I also recommend saving it on the cloud, whether through Google Docs or even emailing it to yourself. That way, at another time, you need to have access to it, or if you're on another computer, you can still reach it somehow. And all of this in addition to saving it on the computer. And then when it comes to saving it on the computer, I used to save every single cover letter I sent out, and I would save it as cover letter and then the company name. That way, if I had another job that I was applying for that was very similar to one that I'd written in the past, I could go back and utilize that as my template. And then finally, print the physical copy off so that should you be called in for an interview, you have one available. One that's nice, it's has no fingerprints on it, smudges, wrinkles, or anything like that. So what if I have questions later? You can reach out to me or the business team. What I would suggest is that if you have some questions that haven't been answered here, you reach out to the business team with any additional questions, or if you want to set up a one-on-one appointment, we are more than happy to do that. Just reach out to us either through the job help email or through the phone number that's actually on our website. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have found this presentation helpful, and just let us know if you have any more questions. Thanks again, and good luck.